All righty. Okay. Whew. That was a long 2 weeks. That was a long 2 weeks. So I hope y'all enjoyed. I was gonna do like 3 videos a week, but then I just decided, you know what? I'm gonna just be bold and upload 10. So I got plenty of other response videos that I haven't uploaded, which includes a video that I did on a video from Redfish, the RT affiliate, which is more left wing. We got a video from, we got another response to Three Arrows' recent video, basically just saying the idea of a clean Wehrmacht is scheisse. And basically, I basically I try to counter what he's talking about, and the whole premise is kind of cringe. Anyway, of his video, anyway. I got a response to Caleb Maupin. I got, I also do have some memes out there, this and that. So I got content. I got content to bring to y'all. I'm kind of doing this early in the day because I got other things to do, and I'm gonna watch the DNC convention day 3 now, which is Feihua. It is absolute Feihua. When you see these, these DNC conventions, and just see how ridiculous it is. Night number 2 was really showing the warmongers and the other folks. John Kerry's just like, well, the military needs to be funded, and we're defending those people and those poor people in Syria, this and that. And Colin Powell, the slam ball that he is, and you can feel as you want to. I mean, it's like if you're a base neocon or whatever the case may be, maybe I'll be a base neocon, but it's like you can't trust these people. They don't give a shit about you. That's where my frame of mind comes from. But anyways, I figure I would just say welcome back to me. I'm going to try to lay low a bit. I'm going to try to take to heart some things that I thought about, such as not immediately making reaction videos to every single thing that bothers me, or, going on stream and immediately, doing something that's, that could get me in trouble. And also, as you can see, I decided to finally just put the, oh, hey, what's going on, Joseph? I decided to put in, good old Thomas Magnum himself as the Addy, for these StreamYard live streams. So I finally decided, hey, why don't I make those two match? I was like, oh, that's a crazy idea, isn't it? So I decided to do that. So, anyways, like I say, we're going to try to, the content's going to be coming out. Like I say, for the most part, as always, as it says in the description, for those, for the new people that have come out that may see this, mostly do the live streams. Like I say, this kind of, mid-tier, mediocre content. It's not the greatest content, but I think that there's some original ideas. I would like to think so anyway. Some. It's not all completely. Some of it is just rehashes of what other people have said. Yeah. But, it's kind of a welcome video to say. Is there anything else I need to say, really? Like I said, I just want to kind of make this a shorty, and I'll do, more of a proper stream when, I see something that's kind of interesting. I mean, I don't know. I could make more commentary about Vosh, but it's like, it gets kind of boring after a while. I do have a clip of him talking to this a JReg mod from his I don't know if it's from his Reddit account or what. I don't know. Anyway, you know what? I'll upload that tomorrow. But it's a short little clip. And of course, saying dumb things like, if Biden doesn't get elected or something, I'll cut off my arm or some dumb shit. I don't even know, man. At this point, I'll be honest with you. It's like, go ahead and put in Biden. Go ahead and put Biden in and watch him make things that much worse. I would, and it's going to be a different type of worse. I don't know. That's not me saying, oh, well, Trump's going to be great. But, I don't know. There's a lot of fear-mongering going on. There's a lot of Feihua. I don't think much is going to come of it. like I say, I mean, it's fascinating to me, though. Maybe there is a point of it. Maybe Vosh is correct on some aspects where it's just like, this can lead into other things. So by voting for Biden, as cringe as he is, then we can, be able to bring people in. But yeah, he does have a shady past. He really does. Yeah. With the whole, the horse cock stuff and the, what is it? They're trying to get the 16-year-old to sleep with him, and get in, potentially sending dick pics. He didn't actually send a dick pic. Is he smarter than that? But yeah, definitely. But like I say, I mean, I've already wasted enough breath on him. Wasted enough breath over my vocal cords to say more. Like I say, I could even do a stream. I almost thought about doing this when I did the stream. When I thought of it, I was like, should I do another stream about Mencius Moldbug? And I thought, no, I've squeezed that orange enough. I put out all the Mencius Moldbug stuff, and I thought, basically, I think I said this on Twitter, but I'll say it here: is the only thing I can really disagree with him on realistically is this idea that it's like, well, if the new regime has to be nice to the folks of the new regime. So all the anti-racist folks and everything else, we got to be nice to them. And it's just like, I thought that he gave very, very strong man sort of examples of how this works, such as the Truth and Reconciliation study that came out in South Africa. Because the thing is that Truth and Reconciliation study is an example of just how bad things in South Africa really got, and, a potential future with people like Julius Malema running the country. Of course, Julius Malema is a millionaire, and of course, the VBS scandal and all that. And of course, he also brings up, of course, oh, well, the Waffen SS in Germany was, in West Germany was taught all right, and, was, given payment, and they had jobs and stuff. The thing is, like, when he talks about the Waffen SS, what he doesn't take into context, and I'm going to sound real Wignat here, I always do it, but where, I don't know why I said where, but, Hayag got a lot of those folks jobs, got people like Joachim Piper jobs, and got people like Kurt Panzermeier jobs and everything else. And, of course, people like Paul Hauser were writing revisionist books about the Waffen SS, like, Waffen SS im Einsatz and everything else like that. And they never got, the basic thing about Hayek was just they wanted to get a pension the same as the Army, Luftwaffe, and Navy. And they never got it. They just, basically the German, the West German government was just trying to wait them out. So, yeah, saying new regime is cringe. Yeah, that's kind of, like I said, I think Moldbug in a certain way. And of course, what he's talking about with that is he's talking about in the context of Bolsheviks versus Mensheviks. And he's basically saying how the Bolsheviks, weren't so good, but the Mensheviks, we can try to make work with them. And he used Zaid Jalani. I think he's been on other stuff. I just can't think of it. But it's like, talking about him being more of a Menshevik and more of a reformist more than someone who just wants to tear everything down. And for me, I would unironically call myself a Bolshevik at this point. I would just be like, you know what? I'm going to stay low key, low profile. I have my beliefs, but I'm going to play the game as set before me. I'm not going to sit here and try to hope for reform for the system. I'm just going to say, hey, whatever happens, happens, and I'll just have to make do. That's all any of us can do, but I don't know. I mean, it's an interesting dialectic or, just a dichotomy that people like Moldbug have created for themselves. Curtis Yarvin, sir. And he is very pretentious and he is very elitist. It's like, oh, I remember going to Greece. It's not, And I've heard a couple podcasts with him recently because he went on the podcast thing to shill his, his new Substack account behind the paywall. I think it's like $100 a year or something like that. But I was just like, okay, all right, bro. But yeah, I don't know. Is there that much else I need to say? I hope y'all enjoy those videos. I'm not sure about what's going to happen with the Jared Holt video. Hopefully he doesn't go around and find it and be like, ooh. But I think for the most part, I was I was fairly reasonable. I didn't go wild and crazy on him. I just, I showed clips of him and, him contradicting himself. And like I say, I mean, I don't care for Gavin McInnes because he did abandon the Proud Boys and everything else. And, he's put himself into this mold, and now, to a point, he can't really escape it. Now he has to continue on with people like, Milo Yiannopoulos to try to be these, the dissident, they're dissidents of the dissidents, so to speak. It's like they're the dissidents of the dissident right. And it's just like, it's ridiculous, I don't know. Like I say, it's a complicated thing. Like I say, a lot of stuff has happened. I was saying this in the last stream, which I uploaded on here, talking about the death of Cannon Hinant and the guy who was beaten up by Keith Love. We still don't know his name for sure, but it's like the guy who was beaten up. But it's just like it's so much has happened this summer, man. And I mean, I say summer, but I mean, even though this started back in February or March, I mean, it's been a long ass time, man. A lot of shit has happened. And it's going to take time for people to really process it and to see where all this energy is going to go, Like I say, we will see what the energy is going to hold, or what the energy, where that energy is going to go to, where all this anti-racism is going to go. And I think even people like Mencius Moldbug, I hate to mention, I'm squeezing it. I'm sorry. I'm squeezing his name, but, it's interesting to see where this energy is going to go. And he thinks it's lost energy. And I don't disagree with him completely, but I feel like that energy is going to have to go somewhere. And it all just depends on where it's going to go. Sorry if the audio is probably going to crack when because I walked away. Anyway, it's complicated to say the least where everything's going to go. Actually, I feel a little bit better because I'm going to try to just eat one meal a day. I'm going to go on the, how to eat to live sort of diet where, I try to fast a lot of the day and I just eat one meal. Honestly, I feel a lot better, but anyways, that's a whole other side note. School's going to be starting in about 5 days. I don't know. I mean, not much is going to change. Yeah, I'll get my degree and then I'm going to be begging for a job somewhere. Or I'm just going to be getting, a check every month from the government, I guess, like everyone else, get some UBI money, depending on what's going to happen, right? I don't know. It almost seems like my crazy dreams could become a reality, but it never really happens that way because of my own personality. But anyway. Oh. Is there anything you want me to talk about, Joseph Altercowie? Sorry. Is there anything you want me to talk about? Because honestly, I think I've said my piece. I could go on and on about random stuff, but I think that I pretty much said my piece about Hinant, or Cannon Hinant, and the Keith Love dude. Ultimately, like I said, basically, just for those that didn't watch it or that may see this, I blame that father far more than I do the killer. The father was having a beer with the killer. And then, from what I heard, I'm going to say this just to update what I heard, is that apparently, Cannon was riding on the black dude's lawn. And so the black dude pulled a strap and shot him in the head. So, yeah. I mean, that's... I don't know, man. Like I say, that father, when the father was talking to them, it's like, having a beer with the guy who killed your son, and you're just like, well, he's with God now, and you just sound like a. I mean, this is one of the things where it's like, the Wignat becomes the anti-white. It's like you can, when you go down so much further, and you get to that point where you're just like, it's not even fucking worth it. It's like in this situation, that's how I feel. It's like, okay. If you can't even, feel mad or feel angry about it because, like, this guy that you're drinking beer with is going to kill your son. You know, it's like, yeah, you could say he's a jerk or whatever the case, but it's like, I don't know, man. Like I say, it's wild. It's wild to say the least. But that's just how it is, man. You know, like I say, I do want to finish up reading the Avengers. I kind of gone back and forth about whether I should finish it. I feel like I should finish it because there's so much that isn't being talked about, you know, when talking about Jews in general. You know, it's like a lot of the time they'll just be like anti-Semitism, and you know, but it's like, okay, well, what do you think about Israel? I don't like Israel, but then you ask them about, well, what do you think about the history of Israel? And, you know, groups like, you know, Irgun and this and that. Oh, we don't want to talk, you know, and they don't know anything about it or they don't want to talk about it. So I think at least by reading this book, we have to, you know, I think in my mind anyway, at least it'll give me a little peace of mind to say, this is kind of how things went. And this is, you know, I want to get a better idea, a clearer version of how Israel became what it became. I'm cleaning the dryer filter, sorry. But anyway, so I'll probably record those next and get those uploaded, and then I'll maybe do I'll upload one of the reaction videos that I did, or the response videos that I did. I don't know, I'm trying to think of, because I got one, I did one for Innuendo Studios. That's an hour long, I think a little bit over an hour. And I know y'all don't want to sit through that. I know. I got another one from Three Arrows that's just under an hour. And then I got the Redfish one. That one's like maybe 20 minutes. I'll probably do that one. So I'll see how that goes, like I say. So I have content ready to put out. It just, you know, I'm just trying to be careful. I'm waiting for at least that first strike to go away. And it's going to go away on October 4th. So that's why I did have the plan in my head, like, yeah, I'm going to, you know, put out, you know, 3 videos a week or something like that. And, you know, boom, boom, boom. But I was just like, you know, and I put like 10 videos out, you know. And a lot of them were just live streams like this to be safe. But, like I say, I mean, hopefully someone gets some, you know, good, you know, I got content. I'll just put it that way. I'll save it at that. But, that's all I really have to say, man. Be honest with you. Like I say, and Joseph Alter Cowie, I appreciate you listening. Like I say, I think I pretty much said my piece. Like I say, I'm gonna wait for stuff to continue. You know, we're gonna see how picky they get. I'm gonna watch kind of the other streamers, but maybe I'll try to, you know, I'll try to steal some content as everyone else will probably be doing once the debates come up between Donald Trump and Joe Biden, because those are probably going to be online as well. And I think the first one's in September. And I know that the last one is like October 24th, I think is the last one. I can't think of when, you know, let me take a look at the schedule right quick. Let me take a look. 2020 presidential debate schedule. Oh, let me see right quick here. Let me see. This is August 11th, so it's fairly current. This was a week. This is 8 days ago, but let's see here. I just need to know the dates. I don't care. Okay. Okay. The first one will be held. Yeah. First one was to be held on Tuesday, September 29th at University of Notre Dame. Late July, the institution withdrew. Okay. Okay. October 15th. Excuse me. Okay. Yeah. Similarly, the second presidential debate was expected to take place at the University of Michigan in Ann Arbor, October 15th, but in June, they too withdrew from the hosting event due to health concerns. Okay, to host the presidential debate. Okay, October 15th. Let me go ahead and see if they updated this. 2020 presidential debates. Let's see here. This is kind of outdated. Let me see here. Okay, this is from the 14th. Okay, Washington Post. Let's see if they're going to hit me with the paywall. I don't know. We'll find. Okay. Okay. The first presidential debate between President Trump and former Vice President Joe Biden take place on September 29th. There are two more set for October 15th and the 22nd. The debate between Vice President Pence and Kamala D. Harris slated for October 7th. Here's what you need to know about how and where to watch them. Okay. Okay. It's going to be at Case Western Reserve University in Cleveland. Cleveland, definitely in the house. I'm sorry. I felt that coming. I just had to put it out. Okay. That's that's Stuckish Ruckish Bone by Bone Thugs and Harmony from Cleveland. Anyway, September 29th, hour and a half. Washington Post. We'll have an uninterrupted live stream of the debate. So yeah, you got Washington Post on YouTube. They'll have it there. If Washington Post is going to have it, then The Hill is going to have it. Then other mainstream media YouTube channels, they're going to have it. The official White House one is going to have it. Okay. 15th and the 22nd. Let me see here. Let me click on this right quick. Okay, this one's going to be the Adrian. The one on October 15th, 9 to 10:30, hour and a half. Once again, moderator to be announced. Third debate is October 22nd. So, those are going to be absolutely redonkulous. But yeah, to be honest, I don't watch debates. That's fair. That's fine. Shoe on Head would be a good topic. Yeah. Huh. That is an idea. I may do that. And thank you for that, Joseph Walter Cowie. That may be a good idea. Yeah, pandering to leftists is her latest LARP. Exactly. Yeah, people like Vosh definitely are like, well, Shoe on Head has her problems, but yeah, And yet, here she is talking to someone that Vosh doesn't like, and yeah, there's a lot of... But, Vosh is trying to play 3D chess. He's trying to be a big brain dude where he's like, well, if we do it this way, then we can convince people to get free health care, and then we can get into socialism. And I don't know. There's a lot of big brain Nibbit type stuff. And, of course, he has said is that he doesn't want to leave his house to do any debate, so you're not going to see him out there. Once again, this is the whole thing about being an instigator, that these bread tube dudes and these gals and these trannies and everything, they just want to get their money. And, they don't want to be able to protest this and that, but they will take credit for all this type of stuff. You know what I mean? And like I say, this is including with people like E. American Johnson, whatever his real name is, being out there in Vietnam with his Vietnamese honey, still calls her comrade. It's like, come on, man, at least be honest. It's a fuck buddy. Come on. Don't try to don't play people like that. Don't play me like a fool, bruh. Anyway, like I say, I think I've said my piece. I'm debating with myself whether to spend $200. You know what? I almost want to spend $240 just to get rid of this logo right up here. I almost want to, in the top right-hand corner, and to have more than just 20 hours every month. I almost want to do that, but it's like, I don't know. Is it worth it? I don't know. I don't know. But anyway, I think I've really said my piece at this point. But I will take, okay, I'll stick around for you for a little bit. No more libs. I'll stick around for you for a little bit. I'll go ahead and stick around a little bit. We'll go ahead and stick around for another 10 minutes or so. But, like I say, the debates are going to be coming up. I may stream those. I'll see if Washington Post is going to copyright strike me or something like that and get it taken down. I don't know. We'll see. Like I say, I'm going to see what everyone else is doing and continue on from there. But it's such just a way. I haven't seen many good NOI clips. I haven't seen many Nation of Islam clips yet, to be honest with you. I mean, yeah, like I say, that Farrakhan video is still getting numbers, at least for me, for, a channel with now 100 people, that video is still getting numbers, when Caleb Maupin's like, I will never disavow Minister Louis Farrakhan, he forgot to say honorable, Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, but, I'll forgive him. But like I say, I've been over that a lot, and I know that, I know. I think it's Joseph Alzakawi. Yeah. Watch Farrakhan on Donahue. Oh yeah, I know he's based on that. Yeah, I mean, I saw that quite a while back, but yeah. But I don't know, man. What I'll probably see how that goes. Like I say, we got some other reaction videos here and there. Yeah, that's about it, really. I mean, I see the whole drama. I almost want to do a response video. Let me ask the one person now that's in chat. Should I do a video, or should I do a response to the Surf's recent video on tankies? I almost want to, but other than the only real bit I have a problem with is them, talking about Holodomor and saying, well, it could have been real, and trying to say that Grover Furr is working with Nazis, this and that. And I'm like, I don't know about all that. That's the only real part I disagree with. When they talk, it's like, especially, and then of course talking about Uyghurs, this and that. I figured you would say yes, but I'll probably do a brief response. I'll probably just put it. I almost want to just cut it. The thing is, the whole thing about the Surf's video is that they're like, oh, well, Jason Unruh has said this, this real bad stuff and everything, And then, of course, it's like, are we historians? No, this and that. And it's just like, and instead they make it into a meme. They're just like, I'll show y'all a clip. Why not? You know what? I'll go ahead and do it. Why not? I'll go ahead and show a clip. I don't think they'll get me on this, but yeah. I could almost do it from here, but let me see. Let me see. Let me see here. Let me see. Do they have it? Okay, that's the other channel. Here we go. Okay. I'll show y'all a clip of this. I'll give you I'll re-download it and I'll show y'all again. But this is absolute feikhua here. So yeah, hold on. You know what? I know y'all can hear it. Wait, you know what? Actually, sorry. Y'all are like, what the fuck? Hey. So yeah, let me go ahead and I'll share the screen here. Let me get my headphones right quick. I'll go ahead and screw it. You know what? We got some time. I'll go ahead and respond to it right now. Y'all want me to do that? I'll go ahead and respond to it right now. Okay, folks, I'm coming. Let's go ahead and respond to this feikhua. Fuck it, we'll do it live. Exactly, yeah. Exactly. We're doing it live. All right, here we go. Okay, let's do it. Why not? Yeah. Okay. Let's do it full screen. Let's watch some feikhua. Okay, here we go.
Allow us to state a few things to save you some finger muscles before you are inevitably overcome with the urge to call out our CIA-riddled propaganda. There is no, and I mean no, comparing the modern imperialist history of the United States of America and the newly developing ambitions of China. The U.S. has between 600 and 800 global military bases, and China has 3 to 4. The U.S. spends more on its military than
China-based. As you would, you know what? I'm going to teach y'all some Chinese here. So what you can say is Zhongguo Ren, and Zhongguo just means Middle Earth, and then Ren is people. And I'm not going to complicate things. Zhongguo Ren, that's Chinese. So you could say Zhongguo Ren hao lihai. So Zhongguo Ren hao lihai, that means China or Chinese people are strong. So Zhongguo Ren hao lihai. And anyway, I think it's, if you watch a lot of kung fu movies, as I have in Mandarin and Cantonese, you pick up some of the phrases that they use over and over, like Xiao Fei Hua or, Ni Shor Shama, all this type of thing. Anyway, so yeah, Zhongguo Ren hao lihai.
The next 7 nations combined. The U.S. has invaded, intervened, exploited, propped up dictators, assassinated leaders, given material aid to the enemies of, and generally fucked up the following countries and growing. We not only
That's
acknowledge they use false pretenses to justify wars such as the Saddam Hussein incubator scandal or yellow cake uranium, therefore WMDs, we are also...
So they set up an interesting dichotomy where they're like, yeah, America's bad, but we don't want to be anti-American necessarily. This is the false dichotomy that they set up. Excuse me. And of course, here we go with based Thomas Sankara. Unfortunately, it's on such a cringe video. But okay, go ahead.
Aware that the material conditions necessary for black liberation movements came at the provision of the Soviet Union, and that China as a country is forgiving way more debt than any Western nation ever has in the continent of Africa in exchange for developing manufacturing factories in their countries. Finally, the Trump administration and many before it have used xenophobia and fear-mongering as a way to justifying actions against China and things such as...
I hate to sound like Vosh, but yeah, that's all true. I don't doubt a word of it. Let's continue.
Suggesting they created the COVID virus or that the government is harvesting the organs of the poor or Alex Jones level of racist malarkey. Oh, and Adrian Zenz is absolutely a right-wing nutjob, not worth using as a source for...
See, here's the problem, though. Yeah, once again, Adrian Zenz, of course, he's been shown to be an absolute loser and everything else. Yeah, once again, we have seen, all his evangelical sort of beliefs. And I have to say evangelicalism because, Orthodox Christianity and Catholicism, they don't believe in the, don't believe in the rapture and all that type of thing. That's only something that comes from, the Protestant Reformation and all that other sort of thing. Anyway, I'm not going to get too theological because I'm not. Anyway, let's continue.
Anything, and for more nuanced explorations of the history of the Uyghur people, we'd recommend reading Professor of Anthropology Drew C. Gladney and
I think Drew C. Gladney used to work for the FBI. It's interesting, of course. How did this guy get on CGTN if he's supposed to be against, if he's supposed to be showing the Uyghur massacre? Once again, I'm just going to say this, is that the whole thing with the Uyghurs is a complete psyop. I'm just going to tell you, I don't care what anyone says. It is a psyop to try to bring down China. They don't actually care about Uyghurs. They do not care. And of course, even the people that, allegedly support the Uyghurs say the same thing. But I remember reading this. I wish I had saved it, but there was like a British MLM guy. I remember that, he was, and he showed that there were 11 different Muslim minorities in China. Uyghurs only make up one, and this includes the Hui Muslims. Now, the Hui Muslims are Han Chinese, and apparently I think that Han Chinese used to sell drugs to them, and anyway, that they have beef. The Uyghurs and the Hui Muslims have beef. Now, for those that really study Chinese history, the Hui Muslims would include the Ma clique, people like Ma Bufang and Ma Xingda, who later went to Taiwan. And you can feel as you want to. You can say cringe and everything else. But they also, particularly Ma Bufang later became he was a Sunni Muslim. And he became an advisor. And he was like not an advisor, but I think like a part of the embassy, I think. I'm just going to say advisor to Saudi Arabia. So... you know what I mean? Anyway, let's put it in. I'm just trying to put things into context here. When you say, oh, the Uyghurs are being, punished. And, well, what about the other Muslim minorities that exist in China? Well, they don't talk about that in context. That's part of the problem I have. If you're going to talk about Islam in China, talk about the whole thing, not just Uyghurs, Put it into context. Anyway, go ahead.
Justin John Ruddleson. Tankies. While historically the expression referred to members of the Communist Party of Great Britain that follow the USSR line, it has also evolved more recently to be a slang for leftists who either defend Stalinism or support authoritarian or militaristic regimes.
Oh boy. So here they go. They're going to muddy the waters and say, well, it's complicated, this and that. Look, the only thing you need to know about Tankies is they supported the crushing of the Hungarian Revolution of 1956. That's all you need to know. Continue.
Regimes.
The term gained widespread usage to describe those who supported Khrushchev sending of tanks into Hungary. It's a complicated topic because the term is used and reappropriated by many different groups. There are liberals who refer to tankies as any leftist I don't
The
like.
same thing as red fascism, but of course they don't use that term, do they? They're not going to use the term red fascism. It's the same thing. It's the whole thing. I mean, they use fascism in such a weird way, don't they? Islamofascism or red fascism. Ugh, it's just, ugh.
There are Marxist-Leninists who refer to themselves as tankies as a badge of honor to reappropriate it from those people who would use it as an insult.
Good.
There are people who support historic revolutions, such as the movement of Thomas Sankara, and call themselves tankies.
Sorry.
There are white Maoists who call themselves tankies.
Who is this dude?
Except-
Now, you know what? They showed this video a couple times. They showed this dude a couple times. I'm like, who is this fool? Who is the dude that has the bleach blonde? It's like, did Eminem become a Maoist when he was some Eminem follower became a Maoist? I don't get that. Okay. I don't care about this
Except
fool.
for conservatives. Conservatives just think everyone who isn't Trump is a communist.
Biden quoted
While some Black Panthers, such as Fred Hampton, described them
source, and women needed to leave the home and shouldn't be homemakers anymore.
While some Black
They're
Panthers,
so funny. Oh, and here we go. Once again, here we go. Go ahead.
such as Fred Hampton, described themselves as Marxist-Leninists, the term tanky hadn't gained widespread usage in the United
This is, I hate this. I really do hate this when it's just like, you have to remember, this is something that a lot of the online leftists, and also, which influences the actual IRL left, as LARPy as they may be, even more, well, I would dare say even more so than the online left. But it's like, when they talk about the Black Panthers, they simplify it to Fred Hampton. That's it. They don't want to talk about Bobby Seale. They don't want to talk about Huey Newton. They don't want to talk about any of the other Black Panthers that existed. They don't. No. We're not going to talk about them. Only Fred Hampton, because he fits our narrative. I find that disgusting. But I just want to point that out. Anyway.
United States at that time. So not all tankies are the same, and it doesn't mean the same thing to call any one person a tanky. In fact, that's why it's a little bit nebulous, and this discussion is a really difficult one to have. The term is both a pejorative and a badge of honor and means different things.
If it's very complicated, then why in the hell are you making a video about it? Because you want to address the haters and whatnot? You could have just ignored it and just been like, whatever. You decided you wanted some clout. Let's be honest. That's why I'm doing it. I'm doing this for clout, just so I can, Anyway, go ahead.
Things to different people depending on whom is saying it to whom. Now, if the idea about exploring extremely insular online drama with memes so meta that they collapse into themselves like a neutron star of why the hell are we talking about any of this seems like a waste of your time, then we recommend skipping to this point in the video.
No,
where
I'm
we
gonna
most likely
watch
please
the
you
whole
more
thing
by explaining things like why Westerners have no business telling African countries who should be allowed to invest in the region. On April 7th, 2020, we got our first of many callouts from Asia of the Historically podcast.
We were accused of the sin of omission.
Oh boy.
Meaning that because we hadn't called out a certain behavior, it must imply we condone it. Well, it's fair dues to apply a critical eye to our catalog, seeing as it's mostly taking on right-wing reactionaries to challenge white supremacy, colonization, systemic and historical inequities. It's a lot of low-tier trash. That's why we refer.
Well, at least you're honest that, yeah, most of your content is dumpster fire stuff. But the thing is, it's made you a hell of a career, hadn't it? So come on, man. I mean, once again, this is a whole type. This is the problem with being 100% ironic. And you're just like, it's all a joke. It's all funny. But we're doing it from the left wing, so it's better. It's cool. We're making videos on Andy No, and we're doing videos on Tim Pool. No one's made videos about. Oh, wait a minute. People have done so many videos on them. It's almost pointless, isn't it? It just gets so fucking repetitive. Go ahead.
To our collective work as a dumpster fire.
Nonetheless, we apparently had made a few waves because shortly thereafter began our series of back and forths with Jason and Rua.
Wouldn't. Because one of us would kick your fucking head in a debate. Because you're a pussy.
Look, you know what? I thought that was kind of funny, too, that he had all those, he had all the anime shit when he was doing, but that was like, holy shit, that was like a year ago. Well, it seems like a year ago. Maybe it was like 6 months ago, but it's like, bro, what are you even talking about?
pussy who's shooting his mouth off like an angry little child with no
Yeah.
substance and not even having the bottom
Yeah.
basic.
By the way, this is the guy that does the surfs. He's the main guy. The other one that was talking at the beginning was the Indian dude that they don't really show that much, but he's the guy. He's kind of the public face. He's the one that goes on the podcast and he's on Twitch, and talks about various folks, this and that. And he does, and I think that he's he really tries to, talk about, oh, well, I really want this. And I really want, more democratic socialism. I still respect democracy. Anyway, he gets mad, of course, because, they consider him more of a sellout, if you will, a campesino, I believe is the word.
Balls to back up what he says.
Then came our first series of encounters with the now infamous Caleb Maupin.
Burger King.
That was from, once again, that's a video from Thought Slime, which I have used clips of. That's the video that I used clips of, showing Gaddafi at the end. Because I mean that's just a ridiculous video too. Like I say, I clipped that video because it's not even worth watching that whole thing. But yeah, let's go ahead and continue on.
Unlike everyone else in this list, our obsession with Caleb superseded any amount of online attacks he was directing towards us.
A lot of gay men's first sexual experience was with a
True.
pedophile.
George Takei. Once again, this is his, Caleb Maupin. Sometimes if you will follow his channel, he talks with his friend who's a anarchist, and of course he's also a white Buddhist. I mean, golly, talk about levels of cringe. But you're gonna be an anarchist and also be a Buddhist. It's just like you might as well just call yourself they them, and then you've completed the circle. It's just it's so predictable. Anyway. Oh my gosh, he's mad. He's mad because he made a comment about that. Yeah, there is some truth to it. Yeah, George Takei, as I said, Milo Yiannopoulos. These were folks who were molested. So this is something that I would love to see a study. I'm sure that study exists. Once again, it goes back to that Cash family or whatever, but I think that has to do with transgender. It's a real fucked up thing, man. So yeah, once again, it's just like, oh, we're more inclusive over here. Go ahead.
So there were a lot of gay men.
So naturally, we did the only mature thing one can do, and we continued to feed into the.
Oh yeah, they use that clip of Brenton Langle rolling his eyes. They used that at least 2 other times I can think of. So yeah, go ahead.
Spectacle and respond to every single one of our accusers with even more inflammatory statements. Soon we were being accused of being imperialists, CIA spies, COINTELPRO, Ukrainian Nazis, or the worst accusation of all, liberals.
So, after
Oh boy, here we go. So once again,
a month, we did the most mature thing possible. We released a video containing various clips and quotes from a collection of individuals who had been butting heads with us and other leftists for some time. Leftists who defend authoritarian regimes and downplay the atrocities of non-Western figures because they're correct in stating that it upholds the current hegemonic control of the United States, and completely incorrect that one should quantify atrocities based on human suffering, or that a regime can't be authoritarian and cruel because we prefer a particular leader. While our goal is to turn a series of clips and quotes into a surreal montage that told a narrative, it also clouded what should have been our purpose. While we take umbrage with all 3 of them individually, lumping them together, even while using their own quotes, is not a good faith, intellectually honest way to tackle complex issues.
this is not intellectually honest at all, though, is it? Once again, you throw all that away at the end, but you know what? I'll save that till we get there. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it, fellow travelers. Sorry.
It's not fair to lump Jason's transphobia in with Caleb's satanic cabal of bankers any more
Satanic? You mean satanic?
than it is to display a mix of bad tweets by Aisha, misgendering an activist, mixed in with jokes
That just, inshallah, definitely. Okay, go ahead.
that we found to be in poor taste, when our intent was to call out her denial of Stalin having any culpability in the Holodomor or the cultural genocide currently taking place to the
Oh. Once again, the thing is that they don't even. This is so unprofessional. You can see this is that these Why did they even decide? You know, the thing is that they decided to start beef with them because Thought Slime decided to start beef with Caleb Maupin because of some clip he did when he was talking with Jody Brar of what was it? You know, CPGB. I was almost going to say CBGBs, the the punk bar in New York in the 70s. But yeah, the CPGB ML. You know, and of course, you know, Jody Brar, of course, being the daughter of the founder. But anyway, just because she used some transphobic language. Oh, it's awful. Yeah, go ahead.
Uyghur people. Our goal was to point out that Caleb's coded anti-Semitism and Jason's long history of transphobia, and doing all three simultaneously without separating them was in poor form.
For that, we sincerely apologize, and it's the reason this video will focus entirely on their own individual arguments.
Yeah, but you don't, though. You could have used their clips and try to make a comment. You don't use their clips, once again. In general, you really don't. But yeah, go ahead. It's interesting that they're using clips, it looks like, of the Donetsk People's Republic. Because I believe that's what this is. I mean, I could be wrong. Maybe it is Russia proper. But the thing is, it's interesting that they use the Donetsk People's Republic. And they don't talk about the larger issues. This is a problem, though, once again. Go ahead.
We have never stated that all tankies are white. This is a straw, Stalin. We never implied all communists were white. We reference online white tankies as a joke.
Who is it? Who is this dude? I'm serious. Okay, so I mean, he's got the... So I mean, obviously, he claims to be an Orthodox Christian. You know, he's got the... It looks like he's got the cross there, but he's a Maoist. It's like, I've never seen this dude. I don't even know. It's like, I'm sure someone's probably typing in the comments, this is who he is, but it's just, oh my goodness. I want y'all to see this. I can't see the chat right now, but go ahead. Let's continue this fake walk. I'll pause it at the halfway mark.
You ran with it, conflating tankies with actual historical members of various political parties. We don't consider you an actual member of the Communist Party of China, any more than we consider Mao a tanky. The term originated after the creation of the USSR, and you're reappropriating its use and not addressing our particular usage of the word. Secondly, after spending nearly 11 minutes in a video looking possessed because you're asked to take a stance on the transgender issue is beyond parody. Yes, not taking a stand on something as polarizing and vital as standing up for trans rights is itself a stance, and not one that helps the trans community.
Still a question of trying to figure fully out what it means to be trans. I think there's still a public debate that needs to be taking place.
And two cis dudes shouldn't be the ones to explain that to you, so we've included a bunch of links to fantastic trans content creators in the description. You still run an article on your...
We don't care. And this is true. This is true. Once again, even people like Medicare are like, yeah, we're glad that he did this. But yeah, go ahead. This whole bit, yeah, go ahead.
Your website about how the Communist Party of the USA Treasury may have been pillaged by someone who identifies
Once again,
as
you say
trans.
Communist Party of the USA. No, it's a PC USA. Once again, if you're a true leftist, you would understand that there is a difference between the Communist Party of the USA, which is just pretty much just a democratic puppet, versus the PC USA, which, I mean, I don't know too much about it, but there are differences. You absolute dingleberries. Go ahead.
Transgender.
It was at this point that certain things were discovered. It was found that the entire treasury, which again amounted to $8,000 of everyone's collective dues and money, had been emptied out for sex orgies, were straight party members who attempted to be pressured into unwanted sexual acts. When they refused, they were set upon by certain individuals who identified themselves as transgender. End quote.
I wouldn't put that beyond the realm of, yeah. That sounds believable to me. Go ahead.
Unlike the narrative being told online, we have been on the defensive of every single interaction we've had with Isha online. And it's really troubling because we like two of the videos she made on Means TV, and the attacks haven't been in good faith, including
Guilt by omission, moving the goalpost, whataboutism, moving the goalpost, whataboutism, appealing to authority while simultaneously citing yourself as a source, putting the burden of proof on the person you're accusing, begging the question, whataboutism, and then, when all else fails,
Now let us start by saying the US government has no place feigning outrage at separating children from their parents and putting them in prisons. It has the largest prison population on the planet. Neither does Canada, for that matter. In fact, Canadian imperialism is a perfect comparison because it takes place within its own borders, where the colonial government of Canada imposes its federal police on sovereign Indigenous land, and is also involved in systemic eugenics programs. So yes, we're quite aware of how this can take shape in other countries. Right-wing Republicans are also feigning outrage.
I noticed that they had to, you know, I've seen this from their own views as well, and I commented on it. Why do they call them right-wing Republicans? Are you trying to appeal to Irish Republicans? Are you trying to appeal to the Republicans in Spain somehow? You know, this is a very, very slick move, right-wing Republicans. And you can feel as you want to about Republicans in the United States. This is the same thing with the word libertarian. Well, libertarian actually means this. Who cares? You lost that word. Get over it. Move on. I'm just going to be a jackass and say that. Go ahead. Continue.
This particular side
Blame Murray Rothbard.
of the world because it helps further their own political xenophobic goals against China. Their pearl-clutching crocodile tears for the suffrage of Muslim minorities extends only as far as their imperial ambitions do. We completely agree that Adrian Zenz is a far-right biased source who way too much.
And once again, though, you still believe the idea that these things are happening. You're not going to do anything about it, though. Once again, Shao Feihua. Go ahead. Shao Feihua. By the way, that just means rubbish. That means bullshit. That's basically what Shao Feihua means. You know, yeah, it's like Shao Shouhua. That means, you know, basically shut up. Shao Shouhua. You know, you're talking too much. Go ahead. Or Tai Do is, anyway, go ahead.
The mainstream media chooses to cite, but he's far from the only author on the subject. And beyond the photos, the footage, the worldwide coverage dating back a long time, way before it was politically advantageous, there's still the endless story after story from survivors and refugees.
This is one of the things that I hate with these left-wing YouTubers or folks. They're like, they suddenly they put on the voice where they're about to do a commercial for the ASPCA. Will you please donate today? You know, all the countless video footage and I hate that. I hate when they have to put that. I watched a video last night about, they were talking about Wolfenstein and how awful it was and fascism is a death cult. And you can feel as you want to, but it's just like, I hate when people do that type of thing. I really do, where it's just like they hit that tone just so they can manipulate people. That's why I don't turn on the TV that much, because it's so fucking manipulative. Okay, go ahead.
Bu mening çoğ Fatигül Qadir, Yoldaş Alıncan. Öyden bir gün keş işkisini bırakmam açık etken pettim terbiyeleştiyken hazır ağnığın 6 ayını açtı. Hazırlıkçılık başka alamadım.
But you notice that one thing that they don't talk about, though, is the fact that, in Xinjiang, there were many, many, many attacks that happened. There are links to Uyghurs joining ISIS. There are probably Uyghurs right now in Idlib province right now fighting for their caliphate and all this sort of thing. So once again, why is it that you don't want to look at the other side of it? I find it disgusting. I'm sorry. I do find it disgusting when you guys won't talk about that. It's the same thing with the UK, where there are folks that, that were in ISIS and then they left and tried to come back home. It is, it makes me mad. Go ahead.
Finally, when it comes to the Holodomor famine, we should start at the beginning. There is not a widespread academic debate as to whether or not the famine itself occurred.
Okay, here we go. This is okay. If I would have made a video, this is where I would have cut it. Would about be right here, and I would have just shown the clip. I would have just found the clip of the guy, laughing as oh no, and shown the footage of the Azov battalion and all those guys, with the swastikas and the Bellamy salute and all that type of thing. And it's like, if you can't even acknowledge that Ukraine currently is a failed state and is a puppet state, not only of the the EU, but also the United States and Israel, then I don't know what else to tell you. Go ahead.
Or whether or not the policies of Stalin's government.
The thing is that they're going to go out of their way to smear one particular person. They're going to smear Grover Furr. That's basically all you need to know. But go ahead, let's continue.
And had any culpability.
One that looms the largest in my head is the quote-unquote Holodomor. You know, the
Here we go. Grover Furr has hyperlinks to neo-fascist works on his personal site, e.g. by Sergei Semenov. He accepted praise from the Holocaust denialist journals Ruski Vestnik and Slovo, and the publishers of Russian versions of his books, Algorithm and Eskimo, are known for publishing neo-Nazi and ultra-nationalist materials, e.g. Aryan Roots of Russia, and works by Goebbels and Mussolini. One of Furr's sources of Holodomor denialism is Yuri Mukin, and this is the only one that I actually looked at. Apparently, he's anti-Putin. You know, he's one of these sorts. You know, he lives in Russia, I think, as far as I know, and is basically, kind of a revisionist sort of dude. He's not that great of a guy. Okay, go ahead. And an associate of Holocaust denier Jürgen Groff. Oh, here we go.
For the famine in Ukraine. I was wondering, could you get into that a little bit? And I guess by starting off with just how often pre-USSR Ukraine had famines in the first?
Well, Ukraine was part of the Soviet Union. It was part of Russia before that. So there's some good evidence that the western part of Russia, let's say,
hold on.
Ukraine.
Kiev can surely exploit Ukrainian fears against Russia by invoking Holodomor, Stalin-induced starvation, or Stalinism, or even Putinism. It is easy to tempt them with the promises of Western abundance or advanced political and economic system. But all these historic anxieties and promises hardly dissuaded the fears of working-class men and women who inhabit eastern Ukraine. Exactly. He's not going to talk about the DPR, the Donetsk People's Republic, or the Lugansk People's Republic that are still fighting against Ukraine, and more specifically, fighting against the puppets of, I'm just going to go full-on tanky. Why not? Of Western imperialism. You notice that they're not going to do a video they're not going to show clips talking about the Azov battalion. You don't see them do that. Only people like the Gray Zone and people like, people like Russell Bentley who are there. And I have my critiques of Russell Bentley, whatever. But, the thing is, he's actually there. What are you motherfuckers doing in Canada? Making videos to make money so that you don't have to work a regular job. Okay? Go ahead. I've almost reached the halfway mark. That way I can read y'all's comments. Go ahead.
Areas had famines every few years.
Oh, here we go. Let's take a look at this. Okay. That autumn, the Soviet Politburo, elite leadership of the Soviet Communist Party, took a series of decisions that widened and deepened the famine in the Ukrainian countryside. Farms, villages, and whole towns in Ukraine were placed on blacklists and prevented from receiving food. Peasants were forbidden to leave the Ukrainian Republic in search of food. Despite growing starvation, food requisitions were increased, and aid was not provided in sufficient quantities. Oh, my goodness. Once again, you need to do some fucking research on a deeper level, okay? Once again, there's plenty of back and forth here. That people will say is that that Holodomor was really Operation Hunger, the Operation Hunger plan created by Goebbels. You can go back and, like I say, there's plenty of stuff on both sides. This is just such ridiculousness. And especially when you put it in the context of, just as they stated here, of what's going on with Ukraine today. Ukraine today, as I have said, is nothing more than a puppet. It is a failed state led by a man who, by Zelensky. At least he's a figurehead at this point, though. The real man that runs Ukraine is Kolomoisky. Kolomoisky has far more control, and the United States military and Israel have far more control over Ukraine than any Ukrainian does currently. And of course, like I say, Ukraine is Russia. Let's just say it, okay? I'm going to go there. Go ahead.
Forever, more or less. Certainly since the Middle Ages. Certainly since the 8th or 9th century A.D. It regularly occurred just because of the geographical situation. In the north, it's drier, but there have been famines due to natural causes. Diseases of plants, plagues of insects, rats, drought, flooding.
Here we go. We're going to use some out-of-context photos. Here we go. I mean, look, I hope I don't stoop to this. Well, you know what? Maybe I have stooped to this level, but golly. I mean, this is... Okay, go ahead.
cold, very cold weather, but not a lot of cold weather. They have a mature growing season. So there have been natural famines due to natural conditions for well over 1,000 years, and they recur.
Grover Furr is a debunked pseudo-historian who denied the Soviet invasion of Poland and claims the Ukraine famine was the result of
No, he denies specific. No. If you want to be specific, once again, I don't even care for Grover Furr, but at least be fucking honest. He denies that the Russians committed the Katyn massacre. All right, they said that the Germans did it. Now, ultimately, he doesn't. He said, if even Michael Parenti, I can't remember where I found the video. I remember I saw it on YouTube randomly, but I remember I saw Michael Parenti was in one of these meetings, and this is obviously a few years back, and he asked Grover Furr, well, why would the Nazis go and kill these Polish officers? Grover Furr's answer was, I don't know. Now that, if you found that clip, that would be good. That would, maybe be a little bit more sufficient. But this clip, what the hell does this mean in context? Go ahead.
natural causes and nothing else.
In the Khrushchev book, Khrushchev lied. I say in the book, I can show that Khrushchev lied, but in most of these cases, I can't say what really happened because I haven't, either don't know the materials or I didn't do the research to find out what really happened. I can just prove that what Khrushchev said was false.
A man with
here we go. Bukharin's last plea. Go ahead.
Extremely problematic links and endorsements on his website.
There is an academic debate as to whether it was a selective attempt by Stalin to ethnically cleanse Ukrainian nationals, which would constitute a genocide.
The thing is, look, I'm gonna say this one more time, but the thing is that if you engage in this, you have to realize is that the Holodomor is used by the Ukrainian government. It is used by groups like the Azov Battalion to manipulate Ukrainians to fight against their own and to fight against Russia. Period. End of story. You know what? Let me go ahead and see. I want to look at the comments here right quick here. Let's go ahead and see. Yeah. Okay, yeah. But he throws the gays off the buildings. Yeah, exactly. Okay, yeah. So many questions about that famine. Exactly. Yeah. Posadas Nazbol paradise. Yeah. To be fair, both sides, Azov and are puppets. Yeah, they're puppets of Russia. Let's just, I could say, yeah, you're right. Franco was, okay. I just figured I'd look at the comments here right quick. Y'all doing all right? We got, daggone, we got 10 people. We got Weebaboo, Ole, we got Union Army Ball, we got, Why are we even having this conversation right now, though? I figure, I think it's just ridiculous. Yeah, I don't stand China or Russia because they are semi-functional and they are, okay. Anyways, like I say, well, let's go ahead and wrap this Feihua up here. I mean, because this is just ridiculous, isn't it? Okay, let's go ahead. Yeah, Ukraine isn't Russia. Poland is nowhere it should be nuked. Okay, well, you can. Well, we can. Let's just agree to disagree. Let's go ahead and continue on with this Feihua. I'm just going to do it here like this. All right, go ahead. Continue.
The UN definition of genocide does not include ethnic cleansing that occurs with.
I hate this whole. Once again, let's talk about the UN and all this sort of bit. Once again, that definition comes from Raphael Lemkin, I believe, and he has to be put into context with these folks. But of course, they, all these folks are big brain. They all think they know better. It's Feihua. Go ahead.
Regardless of intent, which is something else highly debated.
One of the most frequently cited sources by Grover Furr and yourself is the 1932 Harvest and the Famine of 1933 by Mark B. Togger. In fact, Grover calls him the world authority on the famine. It gets a bit weird when you discover what Togger has said about other man-made famines in history, such as the British not being culpable for the potato famine in Ireland, or even more shocking is the British government not being responsible for the famine in Bengal.
This man-made famine argument, however, rests on uncritical acceptance of one set of unreliable statistical data that others have incorrectly described as production data. As will be shown below, scholars who presented this view of the famine had clear evidence that discredited these data, but they did not acknowledge this conflicting evidence, let alone address its implications.
And even in his widely cited essay, he still blames Stalin's regime. It's the conclusion, quote,
although the low 1932 harvest may have been a mitigating circumstance, the the regime was still responsible for the deprivation and suffering of the Soviet population in the early 1930s. The famine was real. The results of failure of economic policy.
The thing is, look, let's cut. I'm going to try to cut to the chase here. The thing is that ultimately, you know, we're against authoritarian socialism. We're going to create a better socialism. That's the whole point of this video. Is we're against tankies. We're against all these folks that praise Stalin and everything else. We're against those folks. We're real socialists. We're the real ones. We want democracy, and we want to be able to, you know, have free healthcare, and everything's going to be free, and, you know, we're going to have freedom for everybody. That's ultimately all this fucking comes down to. But yeah, go ahead. God damn, go ahead. This just makes me upset.
Of the revolution from above, rather of a successful nationality policy against Ukrainians or
UN is a
other
LARP, yeah.
ethnic groups.
It's undeniable that it's extremely hard to conclusively determine what happened in that period, especially from an American British perspective, because of the amount of Red Scare McCarthyism that went on during the latter half of the century.
Okay.
Even with that being
All
the
right,
case.
let me go ahead and answer your question there. I think I already kind of stated it, Skeptical Mantis, but I'll go ahead and say the main gist is that basically we're here to get rid of the bad people. We don't like the people that preach about authoritarianism. If you like Stalin, then you're a bad boy. Then you're a naughty boy. That's basically all it is that tisk, tisk, tisk. And we want, you know, we're going to preach more humanism, you know. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the ones who claim to be humanistic are the ones who become anti-humanist. Exactly. Yeah. Okay. Praise Stalin. Yeah, Shadowley. It's just, yeah, like I said, yeah, look at their HIV and abortion. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and let y'all argue in the comments. I'm not going to get into that. Go ahead and continue on, folks. Okay. Let's carry on, shall we?
Every single major scholar cited by yourself or Fur, including Michael Ellman, Robert Conquest, or Stephen Wheatcroft, conclude the same thing. Conquest holds that Stalin wanted the...
You know what? I'm going to go against things here and say this. This is going to be more of a comparison, although this may be considered a straw man. How did the Germans treat Red Army POWs versus how the Soviets treated German POWs? 3 million... And once again, this is a point that was taken from 3 Arrows video. I'm going to upload that response video that I did to it. But if you watch his recent video, most of those Red Army soldiers starved. And the ones that weren't starved were forced into slavery back in Germany proper. The German POWs were treated fairly well, you know, within reason. And of course, they led to the Free Association of the Free Germany Association. And a lot of those officers were basically just, you know, making anti-Hitler propaganda. But of course, that's also because I will give the Soviet Union credit where they understood the value of propaganda. Whereas the Nazis were not as good at being able to find these officers other than people like Andrei Vlasov and whatnot. I would say arguably the Soviet Union did a better job at using these German officers for their benefit. You know, but anyway, let's continue.
Famine, and that the Ukrainian famine was deliberately inflicted for his own sake. What I argue is that with the resulting famine imminent, he could have prevented it, but put Soviet interest other than feeding the starving first, thus consciously abetting it.
Zero culpability in what happened is akin to denying Churchill had any culpability in the...
This is part of the problem here. What they don't talk about, they waste their time talking about, oh, Stalin didn't like the Ukrainians and purposefully, didn't feed them and everything else like that. Guess what? Under Stalin's regime, he was one of the only ones to send food to India after the famine happened. It was the Soviet Union under Stalin that gave food to India. I'm almost sounding like I'm from India. I'm sorry, but it's like, bruh, what are you talking? Oh, that makes me so mad. Oh, the levels of just ignoring one aspect and say, yeah, you know what? I'm going to let y'all decide what you think about Holodomor and all that. I don't even care at this point, but it's like to say, oh my gosh, it's so awful what Churchill did. Yeah, but guess what? Stalin is the one that gave food. The Soviet Union, okay. Okay. It makes me mad.
Bengal famine. There is certainly a difference between a colonial country imposing its will on a colonized populace and a centrally planned economy failing at fully implementing collectivization But
Yes,
that
the
doesn't
Slavs
make
all hate
either
one
good.
another. Okay.
The king appointed me prime minister of this country, and it's my duty to lead them through this war.
The world and its economics are a multifaceted organism, and trying to apply a single theory of everything to capitalism will have a hard time proving to be useful. While the predatory global banking cabal certainly seems like a time-tested classic to explain all of the world's woes.
Caleb Maupin does not just use to say, oh, well, just international bankers. Once again, he has said this in his own live streams, that it's not just Jews, it's also, you know, if we want to go there, it's also Gentiles, it's also everybody else. It's not just Jews. Okay, go ahead.
It unfortunately limits the scope of your analysis. We're often left wanting when watching your numerous paid speaking engagements because we rarely hear the same fire and brimstone being applied to energy companies.
Caleb Maupin has done videos talking about Marathon Oil and saying how they will simultaneously support BLM, but will also support the New York City Police Department union. Okay? To say that he's not against energy corporations is Xiao Fei Hua. Oh, why am I the only one that has to defend? Oh, makes me mad. Once again, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
After all, capitalism is a system in which you can buy and sell.
Caleb Maupin wrote a book. I mean, I don't even know how long the book is, but I'll probably order it when I get the money. Talking about, you know, how oil companies, you know, run so much of the world's economies and everything else. He literally wrote a book about this. It makes me mad.
Property. And those with the largest collection of accrued capital will in turn have the most power to exert within society. The biggest existential threat facing humanity is climate change. It affects all living things on Earth, and unfortunately is something that requires global cooperation amongst both political leaders, but more importantly, amongst corporations. Now here's a list of the most powerful corporations on Earth. And of the top 10, 6 of them are energy companies. And yes, the IMF and the World Bank do pour money into developing nations with huge...
Ultimately, this video really does nothing because they have to backpedal so much and say, oh, well, it is true about the IMF. Oh, it is true about China and what about, you know, forgiving loans and everything else. But it's like, this mads me really when I watch. I ignored so many of these other points when I was watching the first time through, but this is maddening. Go ahead.
Huge amounts of debt accumulation and work in a predatory manner, and that should be called out for what it is. In 1997, as a condition with the World Bank, the water in El Alto was privatized, and connection fees were gradually increased to over $400 per household. That can all be true, while at the same time, you should also be aware of the following.
Oh, please. This is some big brain nibba stuff here. Go ahead.
International cabal of bankers is a dog whistle for the Jewish question.
No, it is not. Why? Okay, why is it that you can talk about the IMF, which probably does involve banks as well, but you're going to say that, oh, well, using an international cabal of bankers is a dog whistle to anti-Semitism? This is one of the things where it's just like you get so worried about humanism and just try not to offend anybody that you lose the whole point, and you still get trapped in something because we're so worried about trying to keep everybody fucking happy. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm really getting worked up over nothing because this is just, they're not going to change their minds. They're making their money. I get that. It's just,
It's not only many dog whistles, it's a combination of dog whistles. International cabal of bankers. Bankers that are in an international cabal owning bankers. Using usury in combination with them is a doggy festival. So it'll be slightly less shocking.
So why did they use the Yulin Dog Festival? They couldn't even name that. Oh my gosh. Oh, the fact that Caleb Maupin sat next to, Dugin. Oh my gosh. The fact that he sat next to Dugin means he's bad. Dugin bad, Dugin fascist. Once again, I'll say this. I have not read Fourth Political Theory. I haven't, I've seen other than a couple videos here and there about Dugin. I think that once again, people overplay it. I mean, people in the United States and just the West in general love to use Dugin as the source of all bad. When in reality, he's not that big in Russia. He isn't. It's just it mads me to no end. It really does. It mads me to no end that whether they're, you know, whether you'll get the folks from the left who are like, oh well, Dugan influences, you know, far right parties in the Netherlands. And then you get right-wing dudes who are like, oh, well, Dugan's a Bolshevik who really wants to make Nazbol a thing. And it's just so exasperating. It just, oh, go ahead.
If he hadn't also given a speech at a Nazbol conference, the leading organizer of the National Bolshevik Party in Russia. Alexander Dugin is not a conservative figure.
Ugh.
You should disagree with on many key things. He's a Nazi with lefty aesthetics, who again is a Nazbol. And by the way, thoughts.
He's a Nazbol. No, he did not do a good job. Go ahead.
Slam did a better job than we ever could.
No, he did.
Trans ideologies. So why don't you stop listening to cis people and click on some other content creators in the description below, and don't listen to a fucking
He sat next to him. God, I mean, y'all motherfuckers are petty. That's the whole thing. You find one clip from a video that nobody gave a shit about. I looked at the channel. Hardly most of the videos are in Russian. You don't even you found one video. Oh my gosh, Caleb Maupin is sitting next to Alexander Dugin, and everyone shits their pants because it's just so pitiful. Just because you are so petty because he doesn't like transgender people, or he talks to somebody. Oh well, they're platforming somebody. Oh, we don't like that. I'm a big baby. I gotta find the clip that I don't like about him. That's really what it is. These are just babies who can't get their. It's just so ridiculous. Yeah. The alt-right and rad libs have one thing in common: hating Dugin. Yeah, exactly. Accordion violently plays in the back. Yeah, but the Nazbols have a red flag and a white disc on. They must be Nazis. Exactly. Also, you can read about a guy named Karl Otto Pytel who actually wrote the National Bolshevist Manifesto. When did he write that? In 1934. Yeah, that's long before. Caleb is an opportunist. Yeah, I can take that. All right. Like I say, it's just so ridiculous to try to simplify these folks. These are the people who say cancel culture isn't real. Exactly. They're just petty people. Go ahead. Let's continue. All right. 6 minutes left. We're going to get there. Oh.
Conclusion, BreadTube is pretentious nonsense that is becoming less relevant by the day.
Yes, that is true. That is true. Because once again, I saw a video from one of the orbiters of the whole thing. This guy, Christopher Szabo, or excuse me, Skylar Szabo, because yeah, he's transgender now, lives in LA, speaks for itself. But he did a video, fuck BreadTube. And basically he was just saying that, you know, they have this inner beef, this inner drama, and they don't want to do any IRL stuff. And that's what he's mad about. It's fucking bullshit. But yeah, it's true. BreadTube is useless and it is cringe. And we cannot wait for the day when people like you finally lose their relevance. But the thing is that you have created parasocial relationships, blah, blah, blah. Go ahead.
Because the world is changing rapidly. Governments, powerful capitalist countries are showing that they don't care about the poor people.
Holy shit, they do a lot. I've noticed this a couple times with the audio. I'm not the greatest editor, but holy shit, do a better job of editing. You sound like shit. Oh God, go ahead.
Old people, black people, or indigenous people. I mean, we haven't done any videos on the U.S. coup attempts in Venezuela, and thereby the transitive property immediately support that we worship at the altar of Juan Guaido.
So some amongst you might not think it's too becoming for two Canadian gentlemen to talk about what African countries should do in terms of accepting foreign investments.
That's true.
To that accusation, we say you're completely and utterly correct. There's absolutely no question that given the choice between taking Chinese investments and American ones, one deal looks strikingly better. One country is forgiving unprecedented amounts of debt and developing incredible infrastructure in the country. China has increased investment in the continent 40-fold in the past 2 decades. China has expanded African railways, invested in various projects in Kenya, Ethiopia, Djibouti, Angola, and Nigeria. The main purpose behind China's investments are mineral extraction. Of the total $83 billion China has invested into Africa between 2005 and 2017, 40.3% was invested in minerals and 33.4% into energy.
Says metals. Says metals. It doesn't say minerals. Metals and minerals are two different things. But yeah, I'm just being nitpicky. Go ahead.
And a third of China's oil comes from Africa. President Xi Jinping stated, inadequate infrastructure is believed to be the biggest.
Oh yeah, I forgot. It's gonna be less than 5. It's gonna be less than 5 minutes now because I forgot they do the whole thing where they thank all their patrons because they love that money. They love getting that money. Money. Go ahead.
Bottleneck to African development. China and Africa have become each other's largest trading partners.
In the values that it promotes, in the manner that it operates, and in the impact that it has on African countries, FOCAC refutes the view that a new colonialism is taking hold in Africa, as our detractors would have us believe.
China has also built a military base in Djibouti, as well as large manufacturing plants of consumer products that take advantage of the cheaper labor and work conditions. You know who else has military stationed there? In fact, the U.S.
See, once again, I'm not going to sit here and wave the flag for America, but it's like, oh, well, America's bad, but China is getting there. Basically, is that what they're saying is China is getting as bad as the United States. That's all they can say, ultimately. And it's just, it completely undoes their work, in my opinion, where it's like, I get it. You're trying to be big brain. You're trying to be more realistic and rational and nuanced. But it's like, it just undoes in this stuff at the end, pretty much just undoes the whole video. It's coming up. Don't worry.
Has at least 34 military bases scattered across Africa. Also France. Motherfucking France is still the largest player in the African continent. And it's a history of not only setting up military bases, but the far more horrifying colonization.
It's a cringe clip. They use that clip again because it was just so funny the first time. Go ahead.
And enslavement.
Yeah.
To quote Lenin, if it were necessary to give the briefest possible definition of imperialism...
This is the same thing that Vosh does. He uses on his stream today, where it's just like, I'm going to quote from, left-wing anti-communism and infantile disorder. I'm going to quote from that. But of course, you won't be able to put into context, though, that Lenin also wrote that, the Labour Party in Britain, which is what Lenin supported in left-wing anti-communism, is in State and Revolution. He's like, I think it was in the foreword, where he was talking about, the Labour Party was kind of fucked up in Britain because they did support going to war in 1914. And all these so-called leftists, still supported the war. And that was kind of cringe, But of course, they don't want to put things into context. They want to take things. They just want to find clips that agree with them and say, "Well, see, I've read theory, this and that." So it's just fei hua. It really is. Go ahead.
We should have to say that imperialism is the monopoly stage of capitalism. Such a definition would include what is most important for, on the other hand, finance capital is the bank capital of a few very big monopolistic banks, merged with the capital of the monopolistic associations of industrialists, and on the other hand, the division of the world is the transition from a colonial policy which has extended without hindrance to territories unseized by any capitalist power, to a colonial policy of monopolistic possession of the territory of the world, which has been completely divided up. China has both state-owned and private banks, as well as state-owned and private corporations, which set up factories in foreign countries for the purposes of exploiting their labor and their resources. They're doing it better than...
Well, the thing is that China's population, as big as it is now, they're having less kids. And they are going to have less people who are out there farming. So all those old folks out there that are farming in China right now, once those folks die off, for the most part, they're not going to have that same generation of people. So it's going to be a whole, this is China trying to think ahead and trying to think of their own people. So, think of it what you will. I'm not some Marxist-Leninist, but I try to put it into context. Go ahead.
Than other empires before them, but they're still doing it. And why wouldn't they? That's kind of the point.
The fuck does that even mean? It's kind of the point. Oh, it's kind of the point of imperialism? What the hell are you talking about? It's like, if you guys were in charge, you would do the same thing too, wouldn't you? But to think that it's just there to exploit people, I mean, dare I say, I'm gonna go into the Julie thing here, but this is to support your own people too. So go ahead. I think that it's just about over, but they're going to completely undo it. Here it comes.
We disagree that Churchill was a horrifying monster, or that America's been an imperial overlord. Describing someone as good or evil is a privilege for those who are descendants of a time hopefully far crueler than the ones they inhabit. To the accusations that we don't understand history, well, on one hand, you're right.
Once again, haha, we're irony bros. Haha, we're irony. we're gonna make jokes. And why didn't you just stick with making fun of right wingers and all that? Make fun of Tim Pool and make another video about him that literally everybody has done. Why not do a video on the Hill and take advantage and be a shill like every... God damn, go ahead. It's so funny. Twitter is a garbage wasteland. Guess what? You can go on Mastodon if you want to. You can go on Mastodon and, go on. That's pretty much left-wing Twitter. And they say, oh, Twitter's so awful. Guess what? Maybe it's just the people that are awful. Maybe this is why I don't get that argument. Oh, Twitter's so awful. Yeah, it is. I don't disagree with that. But the thing is, you think it wouldn't be like that somewhere else? Instead of blaming a fucking platform, why don't you blame the fucking people around you? And I've said that before too. This is just okay. Go ahead. Oh, we're gonna use that clip again. It's so funny.
Don't 100% know and believe what you're saying. You don't say it. All that I 100% know about 9/11 is that there are some things about the official story of 9/11 that don't make sense.
Yep.
That's all I know.
Yep.
That's all I know. That is all I know. That's it. And I can't say more than that.
He could have just stopped there, but he continued on.
Right? I can't say the U.S. government did it because I don't know that. I can't say Israel did it because I don't know that.
Based. Oh, we're so funny. We're going to use the CIA. It's so funny. Oh, hilarious. We're going to use the Burger King joke because that's what Caleb Maupin said. Oh, it's so funny. Discord and Reddit. Oh, talk about cringe on both those. Okay, you know what? We're done with that video. I'm done with it. I'm done. Okay. Oh, so I appreciate y'all sticking with me. Yeah, Twitter's awful, but I kind of want an account. Maybe I'm just sadistic. Haha, it's very funny humor. Yeah, exactly. You don't have to get a Twitter account. Basically, yeah. Leftist supporting war? Is that just proto-fascism? Yeah. That is a weird thing to brag about. Yeah. Oh, this is ridiculous. Yeah. Money. Yeah, that's what they want. Why do these people always insert race into class issues? Yeah. Wow, they can't even stand. Yeah, even they can't stand bread too. Yeah, because they're part of it. Yeah, German national Bolshevism is due. Yeah. Based by Tell. Exactly. Yeah, Caleb is an opportunist. Okay, I think I've said the comments, so I'm going to just finish this up right quick. I'm going to go ahead and clip this. I think I'm going to go ahead and download this once it becomes available to download tomorrow, and I'll just cut this clip, and I'm going to upload this as a separate video. Is that okay with y'all? I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and do that and just present this as a video because this is pretty much what I would have done in a regular video if I would have edited and put, and added in my own funny little commentary and everything else. So really, I just saved myself some work. But yeah, I think I'm pretty, so I will give a thank you to Joseph Alger Cowie, to Will DeMarco, Union Army Ball, Ole. I saw No More Libs Please 1975. I think you probably chunked up the deuce. Weebaboo. Who else? Who else was in here? I think Skeptical Mantis. The working class needs militias to protect, serve our communities like the Black Panther Party. Yep. I think that's about it. Let me double check here though. Yeah, Skeptical Mantis. Yeah, No More Libs Please. That's it. Yeah, No More Libs Please 1975. I do appreciate you sticking around there. I'm sorry that Jason Unruh kicked you out of your kicked you out of his chat. I think that's about it though. Yeah, Union Army Ball, Mongoose Man. That's it. Yeah, I've seen you in the Constantine commentaries premieres. So yeah, shout out to you as well, sir. I think that's about it. think that's all I've said. Like I said, that it just makes me so angry seeing those videos. Yeah, you're the chief of the channel, chief. Oh, thank you, Ole. I think I've said my piece though. Like I said, I'll probably cut around to it, and when I say, oh, Reddit's cringe, and Reddit and Discord's cringe, I'll probably cut it there, and I'll just go ahead and upload that as a separate video. That way y'all can watch. But I appreciate that. Y'all have a good night and welcome back. Like I said, I'm gonna try to stay fairly low key. I'm not gonna do any Hezbollah videos or do any meme videos that I find funny from Discord. I'm not gonna upload any of those anymore. I'm just gonna stay doing these streams and occasionally putting out the videos. I got the other videos to put out, so I hope y'all enjoy those when they come out. And from there, I guess I'll just say y'all have a good night, have a good day. See you later. I'm just going to chunk up the deuce and say goodbye. See you later.